Hey there, are you a travel creator who is beyond trend chasing and beyond viral views? You've already made it. Your content is working. You are getting brand deals. But now you're kind of like a deer in headlights. Well, it might be because you are treating your travel content creation like an influencer and not a business owner. Over here, I've created the only business building community for established travel content creators who need to save time and create a bigger impact online. We're building this together and you're totally invited. There's literally no community for successful travel content creators who want to build actual businesses and not just chase followers. The first round of this program is very limited to a small number of creators because I want to keep it that way. We're building this together. You literally get one-on-one personalized support with me for a really good deal, if I don't say so myself. To get in on the travel creator business plan, you're going to need to send me a message on Instagram and I will send you all the details.
That is the biggest sign that you are getting bestie zoned because your content is probably fun to digest. You're giving mountains of value, but they're not buying. You really see me. I could hang out on your website forever. When I met you, it was an instant follow. You're in the friend zone.
Hey, travel creators. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I have a repeat guest, a repeat favorite for you, Lucy. Lucy is the messaging queen. She knows exactly how to help you say what you're going to say, said 1,000 times better. And before I stumble over any more words or include helping one more time in this podcast episode, I'm going to turn it over to her. I'm so excited she's here.
So I am Lucy, and I am the messaging strategist and copywriter behind the brand My Right Hand Woman. So that is a really fancy title for me to basically say, I create things with so much personality that you put online that you actually scare the people who are not right for you because you're so in your power, you're so in your point of view that you can't help but actually speak your mind and draw in those people who are a perfect fit for you.
Yeah, enough said. That was amazing. That was great. 10 out of 10
Thank
intro.
you. Thank you. I try.
One thing that you said months ago that stuck with me classically as things that you say do was about being your target client's best friend and how I think when we're online or like when we think holistically about creating your brand persona, talking about what you do online, you're like, I want to be approachable to the people who want me. But I feel like there's this fine line of how you can quickly become their best friend, and people typically don't buy things from their best friends. So I want to talk about what the heck that means to find yourself in the category of being your potential customer's best friend. What does that look like? What is it? I would love to know.
Yeah, so I would love to kick off this conversation with something I think we can all relate to before we take it back to business. Let's take it back to the last person you friend zoned. And, I'm talking love because I think that is such a good parallel. Oftentimes, we're just gonna bash men for 3 seconds. I don't know if you have a mostly female audience. If you don't, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna keep going. This train started. Okay, good. A lot of the times, when men get friend zoned, they'll be like, oh my God, women just bad guys or whatever. But it's as you know that's not true. The last person you friend zoned is because that person probably wasn't taking a stand. Maybe they were agreeing with everything you said. They weren't planning dates. They weren't being polarizing or interesting. And you're just they're really nice, but I don't have what I need to take that action of going on a second date. So I think this is a really good parallel because the exact same thing happens in your business. This is not to say you need to be some mean, intimidating, formal, cold, content creator who's just I don't even talk to my fans, whatever. No, we're not doing that. It's 2025 and we want to hang out with people we actually like. But it means having something there that activates them to move instead of simply just thinking you're nice and warm and inviting and have a great business.
I love this point from Lucy because it's a great reminder that you need to stand for something, but you don't have to do it in a mean way, in a way that, as Lucy has talked about before on this podcast, doing mean girl marketing. Your brand is supposed to repel and it is supposed to attract. And this is a fantastic reminder for the travel creators out there to get super specific on who you are speaking to or who you pose yourself as when you are pitching to brands for collaborations. I want to talk about like, okay, because obviously the answer to getting out of the friend zone in business, not in life, but maybe is
Maybe. Will
maybe
this help you find your husband? Maybe.
is your messaging.
Yeah.
And so if a business owner, a content creator who is on their content creator business journey is listening to this and they're like, oopsies, I think that I haven't been polarizing enough, for example, or I have been friend zoning the people in my audience, what would you say that to them to do, or maybe even like audit what they've done to then with that lens of friend zoning to figure out how am I going to get myself out of this?
Yeah, I think like I want to start this conversation of like, how do you know you're in the business friend zone? And here are a few lines that you'll probably notice people are saying to you that are just like dead giveaways, you're in the friend zone. And I want to say, if they're saying these things, but they're still buying from you, like that's fine. Like people can like you and buy from you. I don't want you to think like you can't be people's friends. Like if it's working and you're getting money, then cool. So what they'll probably tell you is, I want to be your friend. That's the dead giveaway. I love your content. That is the biggest sign that you are getting bestie zoned because your content is probably fun to digest. You're giving mountains of value, but they're not buying. You really see me. I could hang out on your website forever. When I met you, it was an instant follow. You're in the friend zone if they say those things. And the three things to kind of go back to your original question of like, what do you do? Like, where do you audit your messaging? How do you see if this is a thing for you? Ask yourself, am I being relatable? Oftentimes, people who are in the bestie zone are creating relatable content. They're really good about talking about the problems. They're connecting with their ideal client. They're talking about the pain points, but it ends there. They're like, I see you, I get you. Look, I'm going to give you this value. Let me help you with your problems, even though you haven't paid me a dime. That is like key bestie zone behavior. Another thing is someone's in the bestie zone is so into being a human and being a friend and being a connector that they forget to sell. Maybe the reason you're in the bestie zone is simply because you're not selling. So look at all of the posts that you've created and ask yourself, when's the last time I actually sold something directly? And then the third thing is, because you are naturally writing in a way that is conversational and you're trying to create this persona online where people connect with you and like you and all those fun things, you are not focusing on creating a tone of voice that has dissonance. And dissonance is what creates that activation. So if you're going to be warm and kind, I would love for you to be a little bit sassy. Or if you're going to be funny and silly, then maybe there's like a little bit of like a cutting snark in there. So it's like, where can we create a little bit of something, like a little intrigue, and then pair that with bringing your ideal client into the value and the differentiation so they see that you are not just a friend, you are the person that they want to take the next step with.
Oh my gosh, the person they want to go on the second date with, for real.
Yes, the business date. The second date is you get money. The best date you've
Best
ever
date.
been on. Yeah.
And then like the third date is like just more money.
But just more money. There's no ring, just cash.
Just, yeah, that's the goal. That's so good. Because I think people think they're winning when you get messages or like you get that affirmation of like, wow, this is so cool what you're doing. And it's like, ooh, we're winning, but like we're not really winning. So that's a great way to humble everyone, Lucy. Great way to just take
It's a
them back
quarterly
a
yell.
peg.
Welcome. Yeah.
It's the quarterly yell. Get roasted here. That's great. Okay, speaking of getting the right people into not your friend zone, but your dating zone, why is it easier than ever in 2025 to get eyeballs on your business? I have seen this said around the internet a lot recently, and I want to know from you why you think so. I'm curious.
Yeah. My answer is really harsh. Um, just a little lead in. It's because the messaging bar for businesses is in hell right now. Straight up, you guys probably go on social media and read people's captions and watch people's reels and read people's carousels. Or maybe you don't. You like stop at the first slide and you're like, yeah, I'm over this. And it's like because everyone's using the same general ChatGPT generated jargon that sounds like pretty English, but doesn't actually make us feel anything. So all you have to do in 2025 is like tell stories, be yourself, and be like kind of fun to hang out with. And then you get attention. And then you have to obviously do the closing thing or you're going to find yourself in the bestie zone. But it's like 2025, I'm like, thank goodness. Like 2023 and 2024 were such hard years, I think, to stand out in business. Everyone was talking about how it's so hard to stand out. And I'm like, I agree. Like it was also hard for me to stand out. But now that everyone's taking all these like business tool shortcuts, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can like tell a story about how I like almost missed the tram with my mom and like provide some sensory details and then tie it back to my offer and 3 people buy. Like we're back to 2021. And I think you can really use this to dig into who you are and your story and tell that and not use these tools that are regurgitating the same like couple words like synergy and strategy. And then you have people that want to work with you and it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, you just like cracked open like so many brains, I think, saying that because we have so much shiny object syndrome of like, look at this tool, it's gonna make my life easier, 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 faster, better. And then it's like, oh hey, we can't forget these are humans on the other side reading these words who have real feelings and real thoughts, not just computers. And it's not that deep all at the same time, which I think is so exciting. So that's awesome. And I think like deep down, I would love to say that people know that they know like if I just am who if I am who I am, if I am myself in this
If I am
content,
who I am, this
if
is
I
the
am,
deepest episode we've ever created.
it's too much. Here's the thing. You have a service as a creator and you need somebody to buy that service. Where we get lost from A to B is in whatever you want to call the middle of A to B. All of the tools, the shiny object syndrome, the advice, the courses, we all get lost in that when really our goal is to have a great service and provide it to the right person. And that is where 2025 is. It is in the middle. We are currently lost in the sauce of what we're really trying to go after. And I think it's hard to stand out online because there's so much advice. But Lucy is reminding us that, hey, you just need to be really good at what you're doing, stand out by being yourself and not using chat. And if that means you can only put out one post a week, that is a genuine, really good post. Amazing. That is far better than putting out 4 chat GPT posts. So I really like this reminder and this perspective. It is going to be hard because right now we are in the hustle of the end of the year. We are in the hustle of just content creation in general, meaning more output, more output, more output. When sure, can doing a lot get things done for you? Definitely. But it's doing the right amount of a lot, meaning spend a lot of time getting really good at being really weird and figuring out why people would want to hang out with you and why people would want to buy from you. It's going to be tempting to use chat. It is. But I'm challenging you right now, by the next time this next episode comes out, next Thursday, you will have posted something on Instagram without consulting an AI robot. But if everybody shows up as themselves and tells great stories, like they'll be able to get what they want. I like to think that people realize that, but I think it's so easy to get caught up in. I mean, if you are on the marketing side of Instagram and you spend 2 minutes on it, it's like, here's all these things you should be doing right now to get in front of these people or do these things. It's like, oh my gosh, there's just so much information and advice on what to do and how to do it that I think we kind of forget the basics, which is great. So this is a fabulous reminder to shut up and ignore all the bullshit and just be yourself and tell stories.
Yeah, and like be yourself and tell stories and then like connect it to your offer. I think it's that
Yeah.
last piece. It's just realizing that there's things that are happening to you every single day that are an embodiment of your content or your business or what you stand for. And it could be something as simple as maybe you bought coffee for the person in line in front of you because you travel around the world and you want to be known as the person who creates little acts of kindness. Great. Talk about that. You have so many things to talk about. It's just an exercise in noticing and then connecting.
Oh, that's so good. I have people tell me because like I have worked in a lot of different niches in terms of digital marketing, and the type of content that always performs well, which is never surprising across all niches, is like behind the scenes content because people are nosy as hell and they want to know. But yet I still get questions all the time of like, okay, well, I don't know like what to put in my behind the scenes content. I'm like, okay, send me one photo of your desk and we can like think of 10 things. But do you have any other things you would say to somebody who was like, how can I conjure up these little ideas of my life or my business that I want to share about through this behind the scenes content that then connects to what I'm selling?
I think the thing about behind the scenes content is like you think it's boring because you're living it, but other people don't think it's boring. Like I don't think your behind the scenes is boring because I'm like, wait, what? She listens to jazz? That's so weird, you know? And people are going to think the same things about you. So maybe I think it's like normal that every time I'm on a VIP day, I eat dark chocolate. But then it like kind of turned into a thing. And now people are like, oh, I wonder what like bougie bar of dark chocolate's going to be sitting on her desk for this VIP day. We like normal life. We like watching people be like glamorous and travel, but we also love the juxtaposition of like glamour with not glamour. So there's space for all of the different things that you're doing. And especially when it like bringing it back to your messaging is your day is only as interesting as you tell it. So you can say like, oh, I went and bought myself flowers, or you could say like, I stopped by the grocery store and I got all these different things. You want to see my haul? I'm on like a new like health kick. Oh, and I threw in flowers because like ladies buy yourself the damn flowers. Like you can create narratives that people actually want to be a part of. It doesn't just have to be like I woke up and I like drank lemon water and then I had coffee. It could be like I woke up and went to like squeeze lemon water. Lemon went into my eye. Had to do an eye wash like I was in ninth grade chemistry class. You know, like keep telling stories and make like the stories create more stories.
Mm, so good. So good, Lucy. Okay, I hate to spring this up. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but 2026 is peeking its head around the corner.
I
And
know we're almost in Q4, which is like actually insane.
ew, gross.
I know.
Yeah, that's a scary, scary thought. Everybody is about to go berserk in the digital marketing world, and I'm mentally not ready for it because it's like, oh, time to get your last XYZ sales in before the end of the year. And I'm not ready for the content I am prepared to see. Meant personally.
I'm not ready for a Black Friday to just descend on my feed.
Not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But do you have any predictions of 2026? What the heck we need to be messaging predictions of like, do we think will be more of the same? We have gone back to 2021 messaging sort of strategies, if you will. Do you think, based on the sort of discourse you see online, that more of what's going on in 2025 will just continue through 2026?
I think anytime there's a big movement, there's always a counter movement. And we can look at history. I'm not going to go into history because I don't know any history, and that's going to be really embarrassing for me. But like, if we look at things globally, anytime there's an extreme, people want the other thing. So if the extreme is productivity, AI, replicate your time, replicate you, the counter movement is going to be how can you be even more human to stand out against the main movement? So I think we're going to be less in an attention economy and more in a feelings economy. And I'm not the person who coined that. There's a book on it, and I should have come prepared with that book, but I didn't. So just don't give me credit because I don't deserve it. But I think the main thing is we want to have people that allow us to see something in ourselves, that dig into a deeper part of ourselves. And this is really good news for some people. So this is really good news if you're someone who's selling a service or you're a coach or you're kind of in that space, because your services are actually going to be more needed because people are going to be craving that connection. This is pretty bad news if you are someone who maybe isn't very good at telling stories, you're technical, you really thrive with these tools, you're a big believer in just get it out there, who cares how it sounds? Because then you're going to realize that it's so hard for you to stand out. So I think it's kind of just like knowing yourself, knowing who you are. And if you are someone who's not able to tap into feelings because maybe you're just not good at it, this is your time to learn how to do it, or work with someone who can do that for you.
This is such good insight from Lucy and just a further inspiration to get good at telling a story and telling your story and relating it back to an offer. That's really what we're coming back to here and trying to think one step ahead of like, okay, what are all the travel creators in my audience doing right now or wanting right now, and how can I make that more human for them? You're so right. Yeah, whatever is happening, every action has an opposite reaction. So the more systemized things become, which of course we know can be so helpful,
Mhm.
but there comes a point where we have we have to stand behind it and say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm selling. And you will not be my best friend about it. Sorry. Um, so I'm excited to see what happens. But also I think it's just gonna be a little bit more of the same. Like I don't know if anything revolutionary is gonna happen. I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
think.
let me ask you, do you think it's going to go back to like 2021 where people want more of that like larger than life personality online, income claims? Oh my gosh, those were the days.
I I think so. I think about, yeah. I think there has to be a way for people to figure out how to stand out. And when I say that out loud, so many times I've said to people, it's not that hard to find out how you stand out. But when I think holistically about all of the creators on like TikTok, or like let's just think about like influencers in general. Influencers exclusively, not necessarily, I guess that could be your business, but anyway. They're all kind of becoming like one personality. Like you can follow one influencer and follow another one and they're the same, they talk the same, they have the same cadence, they do the same things, whatever. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to follow this person because I genuinely like them and that's fine. That's cool because there is something about them that is different. But also, I feel like so many people have been led to believe that it's so easy to become that influencer. And it can be if you want to put the time into it. But are you just learning to be a replica of this other person? That could be fine for you. But I think what needs to happen is people need to really embrace that they can be weird and it can be fine and that will work in their advantage. And you don't have to aspire to be the same as this influencer who you're learning how to post like. So I think people will start to realize that like I'm going to stay in my own lane and not and create this content and will attract the right people and I'm not going to be like everybody else.
So good. I think especially with travel, because that's why we're here.
Oh
I
yeah.
think with I think with travel influencers or travel content creators, there's so much pressure to have a glamorous vacation. But it's like everyone who's traveled knows that there's always termites. There's always a flight that got canceled. There's always your weird friend who you met at church and you thought it'd be a good idea to travel with her. And then you travel with her and you realize she like only eats muffins for all 3 meals and you're in Uganda. So it's like these things go wrong. And I think the magic in your messaging is when you can take the mundane or you can take the relatability or you can take your weird and you can mix it with something that's a bit inspirational or a bit activating to get people to want more of you because it's that crave piece. If you're just always, getting on stories and being relatable, aka you're like complaining about the trip or whatever, you're like, oh my God, travel's so hard, or whatever you want to say. People will get annoyed at that too. It's a matter of like blending like what's actually happening, but creating a narrative that's furthering who you want to be online and it's in line with your core message.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Ooh, okay. What would you say to people who are like, okay, I want to talk about this horrible travel experience I had, but I am a luxury creator and my brand is to post about these luxury accommodations. And so posting about this horror story is very not in line with what I typically post on and is not on brand. What would you say to someone to persuade them to like post the thing anyway, even though it might not be exclusively about luxury travel or what their main thing is?
Yeah, I have a spicy answer for this.
Okay.
Why are you posting it? If you're posting it because you need to vent or you're just in like a really bad situation, like call your best friend. I think we owe it to our brands to stay on brand. But if you are posting it because you're like, I need people to see the dark side of luxury because I want to provide a nuanced view of what luxury is, then post the story, but like keep your luxury visual branding behind it. You don't have to go full like you're in the basement, like it's dark. You can still provide like, hey, I'm in this beautiful hotel, but like I have to talk about this one thing because I never want to mislead you guys. So it's about knowing your brand. If your brand is truly just like luxury and posting something like this would like pop the bubble that your followers have of you, it could actually hurt your brand. And I think we have to have a nuanced conversation of what that would mean. So many times, especially with these like high-end coaches, we are following them because we expect them to go through the world in a certain way. And it's not that we don't want them to be human. It's just the reason they're able to charge what they're charging is because they're embodying a certain lifestyle that we're trying to embody. So it's like same with luxury travel. If you're embodying a type of travel that people are aspiring to be, and then you just take like a nosedive and you're like, I'm going to be relatable, you're going to like freak people out because they have this idea of you. I'm not saying don't be authentic. I'm just saying in the work that I do with my clients, messaging is always so intentional. It's like, why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we saying what we're saying? Because it matters.
That was like exactly what I wanted you to say. And that was amazing. That was like, yes, you can take this horror story, and if that's really a relevant story you can conjure up for your brand to relate it to this luxury business you're running, amazing. Otherwise, you can journal about that. You can journal about that. Yeah, sometimes I see people's social media feed and I'm like, your journal doesn't get enough attention.
Please reflect. I mean, I think someone once said, like, post from the scar, not the wound. So
Totally.
when you're in like the thick of something, maybe ask yourself, just I always like, I mean, I post unhinged stuff all the time, but I'm always asking myself, like, why am I posting this? And it's
Totally.
amazing how many times we want to post something for like a selfish reason, which is like fine. I mean, if like he dumped you and you want to post that bikini pic on your personal feed because you're like, this is what he's missing, then fine. But like, I think when it comes to your business, it does take that like extra level of intentionality of like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Totally. Totally.
Did you know there was a man in Croatia that has almost died not once, not twice, but 7 times? He has survived from falling out of an airplane. He survived a car explosion. He survived a train derailing into the freezing, rushing river. And then he went on to win the freaking lottery. Hey, y'all, this is Marie. This is actually the editor of the show you're listening to right now. And guess what? I have my own podcast, The Culture Cult Show, where I tell you the craziest stories from every country in the world. And yes, that is a true story of a man from the country of Croatia. And if you want to know how it all ends for this very lucky or maybe unlucky man, check out the episode in the show notes. Now, back to the episode.
Moving along, I want to know some of your favorite messaging you've seen recently from brands. Any that you were like, I'm stopped in my tracks, I'm I'm gobsmacked, this was fantastic. I would love to know some examples because then we can go and look up those examples and learn something.
So I think we've been talking a lot about feelings. So I want to bring up the campaign that Nike ran at the Super Bowl, which is the So Win campaign. I can provide some context because I know probably people aren't football fans. I'm not either, but I happened to watch the Super Bowl this year.
All right,
And
tee it up. Don't worry. Okay.
and the So Win campaign talked about how female athletes have so many barriers against them. And it's like, well, you have all these things going against you. So like, so win anyways is the basic idea. And it was just a really powerful campaign. I think it was right on the money for where our mind is. We are not in a space where we want extreme feminism or we want like extreme soft girl. I think people are kind of taking the veil off the soft girl life. We're kind of moving back to the middle. And I think femininity has been like a really interesting hot topic this year. And I think Nike just like really hit the words we needed to hear for this point in time.
Yeah. I believe I cried on my couch watching grown
It
men.
was a good one.
It was a good one. It was a good one. That's such a great example. I forgot about that. And now I'm going to have to go watch the ad again because,
Everyone should watch the ad. Honestly, it should be linked in the show notes because it's so good.
yeah, we can make that happen. That's a reasonable request. I'll think about it. Do you have any hot takes for me?
Okay, a hot take. Let's do a hot take with content. I think a hot take with content is that story slides are outdated.
Tell me more.
I just think like anytime it's amazing how many people have like the coolest stories. They're like, I'm drinking my green juice, I'm going to Equinox, and I'm like, you go, girl. And then it's like they go to sell something and then they have these like Canva design story slides. And I'm like, yeah, I stopped caring.
Okay, shit. Yeah. Oh my God. I love this. That's so true. That's so true. Also, speaking of immediately knowing you're being sold to, you might appreciate this, but I got a DM from some business coach
I was
I
like, are we gonna
follow.
out them?
No,
Roast your DMs
don't tempt me. I won't.
with Lucy
I won't.
and Laura.
I won't. Okay, so this person is some sort of content creator, business coach of sorts person. So this is the DM I get. Immediately I was like,
Love this.
tell me what you're okay. Anyway. Hey Laura. I really hope this guy does listen to this podcast.
If they do, you should probably hire both of us.
Yeah, for real. Just had to scroll through my list of followers and saw you're following me, but we've never actually connected. That's BS. Are you into the content writing niche yourself, seeing as that's usually who my content attracts? I said, LOL, yes. And then I tell them what I do. That's amazing. Travel is such an exciting niche to work in. What kind of projects do you usually enjoy most with your clients? This is when I message. Also, I don't mean to be rude. I just have a sneaky feeling you're about to pitch me something. So here's your permission slip to go ahead and do it. It will save us both time and I can see if I'd actually be a good fit. LOL, thanks. He did not see this message yet, but I cannot wait for his response.
The lore. I feel like this just needs to be a part of the podcast. At the end of every episode, you're just like, and here's the DM of the week.
And here's the DM of the week.
Yeah. No, I think what I've actually started doing is I love when people cold pitch me because then it's my opportunity to cold pitch them and be like, has this like worked for you? Because you know what would work? A website that people actually want to buy from.
That's so good, Lucy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Do you have any other content things you can't stand seeing, or that you're like, when I see this on my feed, immediate eye roll, or you're just tired of seeing it?
I'm so tired. Like, I know this is bringing things back to 2021, but I'll try and like bring this to the future. I'm so tired of like my client made whatever amounts of money in 6 weeks. I do it. Like, I'll be like, my client made $100,000 in a month with this sales page, but then I actually show the sales page. Like, the problem with these claims is I'm like, you are providing no context. Like, did she sell feet pics? Like, what's happening here? Like, how did this happen? And I'm just so over the like claim without backing it up. I'm all for like the zesty headline, like keep doing hooks that really pull people in, but you have to actually tell the story. You can't just be like, my proprietary method that took them through this framework, like got them here. It's like, girlfriend, what? Like, we all know no one makes $1 million from a formula. And I think we're just over it. So I would say the biggest, this is not even a hot take, this is like a suggestion, is add context. Anytime you're going to have like a spicy, juicy hook, yes, but then like make them get into the story with you a bit more.
Yes. Oh my God. Totally. I totally see that happen all the time. But then I think I'm like too stupid to realize that it's been said and then I don't see the proof, you know? So it's like, oh, tell me about this thing you're doing.
Wait,
Anyway.
you mean like in the carousel? You like
Yeah,
don't
like
see
if
the
they're
next
like,
slide?
yeah, like let's say they're like, my client got 30K a week from my proven strategy. And then it's like, okay, I'm swiping through and I have now immediately forgotten that they said that. And now I'm just focusing on this slide.
But that's fine. Like, good content should know that people are goldfish. So it's like they should be continuing to reiterate the end result throughout the content. And same with you. Like, if you're telling a travel story or you're trying to do something that leads to some sort of result, you should keep referencing the threads that immediately got them into the story.
Totally. Okay, if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh my God, now everything I've ever created and I'm creating right now listening to this is trash, where can they start with messaging? If someone was like, hi, Lucy, I don't know what messaging is. What should I do to kind of figure out the gaps in my own messaging, and where should you take me now? What should I do now?
Yeah. So if you feel like I've really called you out in this episode, the first thing I can do is actually in this episode, I can link. I like how I'm saying I can link, like I'm in your back end, just being like,
I'll send you the
yeah,
back end.
yeah.
Not
I
creative.
have, I have an episode that just dropped on when you find yourself in the bestie zone, how to get out of it. So if that first part of the episode was like, okay, this girl knows way too much about what's going on in my life right now, that episode will actually change your life. Another big thing I love to help people with is figuring out their messaging superpower. So I'm going to go ahead and link my quiz so you can take it, figure out your messaging superpower, and then also figure out how to fill the gaps in that superpower. So it's really diagnostic. It has like a cutie little BuzzFeed name, but you actually get like a whole page of results of like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you should change. This is how you're going to be amazing. And then this is so exciting. I've never talked about this publicly because it just launched. I have a new membership. It's called Unicorn Messaging. It's the same name as my podcast, except this one's Unicorn Messaging, the membership, because I'm creative. And it is for people who want ongoing copy support from me. Every single month, there's a monthly roasting call. So you can submit your copy before the call. I'll go through it in the call and I will tear it to shreds lovingly, but also rewrite important sections for you so you can figure out how to make it better. You don't have to be there live. I have a pre-submit form. So if you can't make it to the call, you still get roasted. And you also get a co-creation call. So you can write content, copy with me in the room, and then you can kind of hand it to me if you want me to like comment on it, make edits, or you have any questions, those two things. And then there's also a component where you get 2 bite-sized trainings from me per month. That is when let's say I write someone's sales page, I will go behind the scenes with you and show you this is how I'm doing it to get my client this result. So really fun stuff. And it is at a lower investment than working with me one-on-one. So if you've maybe heard from me on this episode and the last one, you're like, oh, I want to work with you, but like the one-on-one stuff is just like not there right now. This is the offer for you. I don't have a sales page to link right now because I literally launched it yesterday, but go ahead and DM me on Instagram if you're like, girl, I heard you on the pod and the membership is where it's at and I will get you in.
In case you didn't get roasted enough in this episode, you can now have an opportunity to give
Get roasted every month.
money to then roast you.
You can pay me for more quarterly yelling.
Personalized quarterly yelling. Okay, one thing I wanted to pull out of what you just said that I think people are gonna lose their shit on is that you said, I don't have a sales page to link to you yet because I just launched this offer. There's the biggest truck in the world going by. One second. Okay.
The biggest truck in the world. It's an 80-wheeler, everyone.
Never seen before. But I think we have so ingrained in our minds that we need to have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted before we put something out in the world. And I want you to tell us why that doesn't have to be the case and why you have already sold spots in this membership and you do not have it even linked on your website.
Yeah, I don't put stuff on my website that I don't know converts. I think if I'm going to go through the trouble of writing sales, I mean, I have like a little Google Doc that I'm sending people, but if I'm going to write like an actual like behemoth of a sales page, give it to my designer, pay my designer, whatever I'm going to pay her to bring it to life, and then link that to people. I better feel good about it. Like I love selling the first couple of spots just through the DMs and voice notes because then I get to hear what the objections are and I get to hear what people's actual struggles are. And when they buy, I'm like, what made you buy? And they're like, oh, you said this thing. And I'm like, great, that's going on the sales page. So it's like you can use your clients to co-create your assets with you. And it's totally fine to launch messy. Like people love buying messy because usually they get some sort of bonus, they get some sort of discount, they get access to you and the group's still relatively small. Whenever someone launches a new program and there's someone I've been following for a while, I'm like, yep, that's going to be what I buy because I know they're going to over deliver because they're trying to create something new.
Okay, so I recorded this episode with Lucy a couple of weeks ago, and between the time that she said those words that you just heard and the time you're hearing these words that you're hearing right now, I launched something really messy. And it's going really well because I decided I'm finally not waiting for something to be perfect. And it was finally Lucy who kicked me in the pants and shook my shoulders and said, okay, why don't you just like create that and make that happen? And it's not perfect and people are buying it. And it's fun because I get to do more of what I love, but also figure it out with people along the way because obviously our goal as service providers, as creators, is to make something people freaking actually want and need instead of just guessing. So it's been really fun to build it alongside people to figure out, okay, what do you actually need out of this so that we can make it happen instead of me just guessing, throwing spaghetti at the wall, thinking I think this is what you have, what you should have when they actually don't want that. And for me, it is the Travel Creator Business Plan where we are peeling back the curtains of your business systems because, to be honest, nobody in the content creation space is talking about the business systems you need in order to be a successful business owner. You're already an influencer, you already have amazing content, you already have brand deals, you already know how to do the thing. Now you need to figure out how to deal with all of this success and turn it into systemized processes that can continuously be bringing you in more money. Because right now it's looking messy in the background because you're a travel content creator who's already successful. It's a hot mess back there. So we are looking at those systems in this membership to make it very simple, very strategic, and eventually make you a lot more money. But it's something I put out into the world that's not ready and it's not super like clean and polished, and that's the freaking fun of it. So the creators in that program with me, we're having a lot of fun. Sneak little preview, I created a pitching automation workflow for them, which is like something I'm super freaking nerdy about, sending any sort of email. So that has been super fun. So if you want more details on that, you're going to have to message me on Instagram at Travel Content Writing, and I will send you all those juicy details. So good. I feel like you've unlocked things for a lot of people that it doesn't have to be perfect before it's done, especially if it's the start of something new that you are offering. That's so good. We will have links below for everybody who's nosy.
So many links.
There will be links below. Where else do you want people to find you?
Yeah, so I just rewrote my website, so I'm really proud of it. Yeah, I went so hard. I like actually took off all of the professionalism and just went balls to the wall in an afternoon, and I've never been happier.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to read every word. Hold on, it's loading. Wow. Guard your wallet or don't. I'm not your CPA. You're so funny and stupid. Oh my gosh. Genuinely, I'm like reading your shit and I'm like chuckling. I'm like, hey, she's so funny.
If there's one thing I could tell everyone listening to this episode is please check it out because I'm proud of it.
Yeah, you worked this was a lot. Okay, I can't wait to like fully read it and just have a great time with that. So thank you for giving me something fun to look at. A little reward when I finish my work.
Of course, yes. And then if you are like, I don't want to go on a website, which is fine. I mean, I don't know why you'd think that, but cool. Then you can always find me on Instagram. I'm there probably 24 hours a day. And my Instagram handle is my right hand woman with right spelled like writing.
Yeah, the best pun there ever was. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on here and scaring my listeners away.
Of course. We'll see if the analytics just fully nosedive after this episode.
I'll post it with zero.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for giving me your time and just knowledge to help us not only now, but as we start thinking about the new year and what we want our content to look like, which is a terrifying thought, but it's super helpful.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be here before we know it, but it's also not. Like there's Q4. Q4 is when I literally make like all of the money I've made the rest of the year. So it's like, I think like my parting words to people is like, don't think too much about like future predictions. Like ask yourself, what can I put out now that's going to get me a client?
That's it. That's the show. That's so good. Oh man, how do you even end an episode with Lucy? Should we just mic drop it right here, right now? Lucy is just a wealth of knowledge, and I highly, highly recommend going to check out her podcast as well. I'm actually a part of her own membership, which I also highly recommend. She's just someone who every time I have an interaction with her, I just feel better and clearer and just like a better business owner. So it's always a pleasure having her on, and please do yourself a favor and connect with her on the internet. Tell her I sent you, tell her hello.
But I hope you have some actual tangible takeaways from this. I mean, there's so much from Lucy. To be totally honest, I'm going to literally study the transcript of this interview and see if there's any other pointers I can take out because she's that freaking good. But until then, I will be sipping some apple cider because happy fall, y'all, and happy creating, most importantly. But I'll see you next week.
There are probably 100,000 people who want to do what you're doing or are doing what you're doing. And my thing is, how do we filter out that noise? Hello and welcome to Unicorn Messaging. I'm Lucy and I am the messaging strategist and copywriter behind the brand My Right Hand Woman. I am also the host of this podcast. I have been doing this for about 4.5 years, giving women founders and women-owned businesses the words they need to scale into their stretchiest goals. I specialize in working with really fun, casual, conversational, and a little bit irreverent brands so we can get them on the map and they can be as bold in their communication as they are in what they're putting out into the world. My hot take is messaging is always the answer. Messaging is the root cause for why sometimes things feel off in your business and you feel like you don't have that really juicy, yummy alignment. So why unicorn? We know why I'm talking about messaging. It feels so airy and very fantasy, but unicorn is very intentional. The idea behind unicorn messaging is that good messaging just isn't enough. There is so much noise out there on social media. The internet is saturated and we actually have an attention span that is worse than goldfish. Go look it up. There are probably 100,000 people who want to do what you're doing or are doing what you're doing. And my thing is, how do we filter out that noise? We go all in on your messaging. So as a business owner, when you can nail that, you're creating a focus that when people come to your corner of the web, whatever that looks like, it just feels like they have this experience of your brand. It's this warm hug of consistency, but it's also a spicy best friend that they want to hang out around. This allows your visual brand to be so much stronger when your verbal brand is also doing the work. When your messaging is dialed in, you are able to communicate your brand for those bigger opportunities, collaborations, PR. Everything just gets easier along with the sales that you're making. Tune in to hear some of my best messaging strategies and also some stories of myself and my clients of elevating their messaging to change their positioning and scale their companies. You're going to get some insight into actual strategy calls that I'm having with people, witnessing consulting calls that I've done with clients that you're not going to have to pay for. I'm also going to be putting out bite-sized 15-minute episodes where I'm going to share some of the biggest messaging tips that I have. If you are trying to scale from 6 figures to 7 figures and you know your messaging is not pulling its weight to bring you to that icon status, this podcast is going to become your favorite thing to listen to on a Sunday morning or honestly 2 a.m. after the club. I don't care when you listen. I am going to get raw and talk about expression and being bolder and all of the things that come up when you decide to do that. Because when you can combine the actual messaging shifts you need to make with the mindset and identity shifts you need to make to put that on paper and believe it, that's when the unicorn status happens. Unicorn Messaging is going to have new episodes about 2 times a month, so make sure you set your calendar for that. And if this sounds like this is where you want to go, make sure you follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. And also follow me on Instagram at My Right Hand Woman, right spelled like writing, WRITE. And then if you listen to an episode and you have a giant aha moment, please leave me a review. This is how I'm able to bring these episodes to you for no cost because I love just giving all of the value, but it helps me get that recognition I need to keep bringing better guests on the show and show you even more high-end messaging tips with actual businesses that you really want to see what's going on the inside in those businesses. If you are thinking you want to go a little bit deeper with me, let's do it. Linked in this trailer is the Messaging Superpower Quiz. Take it and I'm going to give you a full diagnostic report on what your messaging superpower is, what this means for your brand, how to really utilize it, the gaps in it, and room for expansion. I go hard. This is not a BuzzFeed quiz. This is not a drill. So make sure you go ahead and take that quiz if you want to know that about yourself.
This podcast was produced by Your Girl Media.